Hey Homeworthy, my name is Sade. Welcome to my home in Branchburg, New Jersey. Come on in, I'll show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, my name is Sade Nelson, and I am a full-time stay-at-home mom and a part-time content creator. I live in Branchburg, New Jersey, in my colonial home, which has a style of mixed with a rustic farmhouse, colonial, with I guess mixed with our personal style as well. I have a lot of modern pieces and a lot of antique pieces, thrifted pieces. I like to mix all them together. I do have a lot of color popped in between. I do love a rustic vibe. So a lot of the furniture you do see throughout are very wooded, rustic, older, and they just flow with our style. Welcome to my dining room, which is one of my favorite rooms, basically because I just love the rustic vibe. We purchased this table from Pier 1, which is one of my favorite. I just love how it kind of just flows with the room and stands out. It's never the same. I design it at least every couple of months because I always get bored with the designs. I absolutely love jugs. Jugs are my thing. The more, the better. I'm still trying to collect even more. I got this from an antique shop in town, which is one of my favorite pieces. It also moves around the home as well. I like to mix old and new together. So a lot of pieces you do see throughout the home is like old antique pieces, like this old scale here and some old books, as well as a lot of thrifted and old paintings that we have throughout the home, as well as one of my favorite paintings we do have is from George Wilson that was actually passed down from my husband's mother. Another part that on the house that I love so much is these barn doors. Even though they do say barn doors are no longer in style, it's still one of my favorite pieces in the home. It just makes more sense because before we had folding doors which just stick out and the kids would just bump into it. Just having a sliding door just makes it so much better and more functional for the home and the space, and still allow natural light to get in because the room can get very dark. The chandelier, oh, the funny story about that, when we first got the home, we didn't have a chandelier. There was no light fixtures in the middle. They actually had recessed lighting on the side, which I felt like it didn't really bring out the space as much. The only issue that we did have is that we didn't want to get a chandelier that was too long, so we had a friend cut it shorter to make it fit with the room, and it just adds so much character, and it's like a focal point. It's the first thing you see when you walk in. Such a beautiful piece. Another thing I love about the dining room is the black accents, from the black chandeliers to the black candle holders and the black bowl and the black chair that kind of make the room pop a little to add contrast. This hutch behind me is just mainly for entertaining if I'm having like a little tea party, which I really do have. But when I keep all of my dishware, my teacups, my tablecloths. It's just basically storage. And then we have this beautiful painting that my husband had purchased off of Etsy. He's really, really great at finding artwork that I feel like it just flows with what we have here. Now I'm about to go to the living room, follow me. I just love the big fireplace, the chandelier. It just gives drama to me, and I wanted like colonial drama. But it also has a lot of touches of antique items and thrifted items that I really love so much, that I hold dear to my heart, that I feel like it fits with the home theme, the colonial theme. And then I have the living room here, which we spend most of our time. A lot of the pieces you'll see, like I said, are a lot of old pieces mixed with new pieces, a lot of children's toys mixed in between, basically representing our life as it progressed. Now off to my favorite room at home where we mostly spend most of our time. This is a new built-in. We did not built it ourselves. From my understanding, I believe this was a fireplace before we had the fireplace in the dining room. They added the bookshelf here, and throughout the years, it hasn't looked like this. Throughout the years, it's changed. I would say it was more minimal then, and as life progressed and went on, life just basically took up the space with the kids, hence why you see so many toys and Legos and pieces that we grew up with, like the Ninja Turtles or Mario and all that, and also some Lego pieces in the back. I do read often, but most of these books are either the children's books or books that we collected from college or what we're currently reading now. I have to take you to my favorite corner, by the way. A lot of the times, most of my photos are in my favorite corner. These two chairs were actually gifted for me from a client that I used to work with in New York. I used to do real estate. One day she just gave me a call and said she was throwing out a few things and if I wanted to take some, and I went there right away, and I was able to really, and I had them for a very long time, at least it had to be 10 years before I had this home. So I kept them so long, knowing that one day they would have a perfect spot. The cafe curtains. Well, first, this is the first year I've actually had cafe curtains or curtains in this room, period. I've always had them bare because I just love the windows so much. I think at one point I wanted to add window curtains, but I just didn't know what at that time. We are up really high. I didn't want to cover it so much because they're just so voluminous and so beautiful. I still wanted to let the natural light in. So I just figured I'd just put some cafe curtains in. I went online to Etsy. I just love Etsy. And we decided to just get some regular cafe curtains with pleats. I bought the hardware from, I think, Pepe and Carol's, and it just worked. It worked beautifully. This photo here is actually my husband's parents. This is him when he was a little baby, and I thought it just aesthetically just fit in just perfect because it's just a nice photo from, you know, back in the day, and it just fits, you know, in. But I do have to talk about the heating pipe that we wrapped around a rope. When me and my husband were dating, I remember one time we went into a cafe in Brooklyn and they had the same concept. They had a heating pipe, but they had it wrapped around. Then I didn't know what it was for. I thought it was just for aesthetic. I asked the owner what it was for. It was for heating. So I thought about when we moved here, we had two pipes. There's one here and there's also one in the hallway. And we thought it would be such a great idea to add our own rope because it does give a room a little texture. It pops, and you know, it just gives a little vibe. Most of the paintings in here are, I have to give him his credit, is my husband. He picks out most of the artwork that you do see in here. Most of the artwork you do see like this were passed down to him from his parents. I'm not too sure what this is. I do see, you know, it had something to do with music. I do see a little banjo there and so forth. It's just, it fits perfectly. But my favorite painting would be this big one here. This is like the focal point. I'm not too sure who it's from. It also was gifted. This also was gifted from my husband's parents. It's such a beautiful piece, and it's like, it looks like the whole family or gathering of some sorts. It definitely gives off good, you know, a good feeling when I look at it. And this piece here, I get asked about this artwork piece a lot. My husband does say he said it's an African woman. He purchased it from a sculptor in Paris. He said it's me. I don't see it, but it's definitely a beautiful piece that I think it's gonna be in the family for a very long time. The hippo, once again, I have to give that credit to my husband. He does like unique pieces. I wasn't too sure about it at first, but once he placed it up, it definitely works. It's something that people talk about as soon as they walk in, like, what's that? It is paper mache. It's definitely moved around the room a couple of times, but I think it has its permanent spot. So me and my husband met in New York about 18 years ago. We used to work together in Bloomingdale's in 59th and Lexington. We both were art students. He went to Pratt, I went to FIT. So basically what you see here is basically a fusion of our both, you know, styles. His family's from Brooklyn and I'm from Queens. We have a whole bunch of family photos that hold dear to our heart that we kind of not separated but put together. I have my side of the family here, which I love, of course, and his side of the family here. Okay, so me and my husband, we have 3 kids together. We have 2 girls and 1 boy. My family is from the Caribbean of Jamaica, and his family is also from Grenada, as well as North Carolina. When we chose the furniture for the home, we wanted to make sure that we had storage space, or at least little pockets where we can put little things. I don't know if I mentioned before, but the home was built in 1925, so it doesn't really have much closet or storage space downstairs. So these built-ins definitely helped us store little things here and there to hide them. That way we don't have them out all the time. And it basically holds a lot of like electronics, old cameras, video games, everything that the kids can play with. So the coffee table and the console are a set together. I think it was actually the last piece. What I love about both of them, they're extremely heavy and they had to be put together. They both do add storage space as well, which I absolutely love, and also as well as the coffee table. The coffee table is really never this clean, honestly, but we do have a lot of conversational pieces like books that we do like to go through and we do entertain. Like this one of my favorite book, which is Historic Black Brooklyn. Basically, it shows a lot of old photos from the 20s all the way into now in Brooklyn, New York. It's really cool. This sofa here, now, if not most of the furniture here is what we bought when we first moved in, and we could not find a sofa that was comfortable and cozy and not too stiff for a family. We went to Pier 1, and this was actually the last one. It was actually a floor model, so we just took it right away. We just cleaned it. This is my husband's chair. This is his spot. No one goes in it. It's very deep, and as soon as you get it, you'll fall right asleep. The rug is actually my favorite in the room. I just love the old details, the coloring. I feel like it picks up. It's like a pop of red that the room needed, but it's just not too much yet. It's just, it flows. When we first moved in, the walls were red, and of course we have the paneling still. I believe this paneling has been here possibly, I think wall panels were very popular in the 70s, I believe, but it was too expensive to actually change or take out. So we just had an idea to just paint right over it, but to paint it a certain color where the texture still pops through and it adds a beautiful aesthetic to the room. We're both, me and my husband, from New York, so we came from the city and we wanted to look for something that's more quiet, more homey, more wholesome. When we first saw this home, it was just perfect. It was actually the second home we saw. We wanted that farmhouse look, and we love old homes, so we wanted like the old bones, but yet we wanted to change a few things. When we first saw it, we wanted something that was very rural, quiet, cozy, of course, less, still close to the city, more private. Okay, now I'll take you to the hallway. So this is the hallway. It's still an ongoing project of trying to figure out what to put in this hallway because it's a high traffic area. But the whole point of the whole point of having this space is just still have storage. It's all about having storage space. Where do we put toys? Where do we put our coats? Where do we put our shoes? We had this great idea of getting a bench that has high drawers that holds all the kids' belongings, toys, shoes, clothes. That way everything is out all over the place. We also have a wet bar. We don't really entertain as much, but it definitely comes in handy when we do entertain. One of my favorite pieces as well. This is really, really, really old. Throughout the home, we have like little Lego pieces, this typewriter that we have. A funny story about this typewriter, it moves around. Most of our items move around. I can't really keep them at one spot. It was originally on the console in the living room, and my daughter May, which is 2, got hold of it, and it's just, the back of it is completely shattered, which was devastating. It took us a while to put together, but it used to type and everything. So it'll be here for right now. The floors are original. When we moved in, they did not look like this. We decided to have them sand down and stained. I don't really remember what stain that we used, but it was, once again, my husband's idea. It was a great idea. It was an oil stain. And that was one of 2 things that gave the home a facelift, which is the floors and the walls, the paintings, and the light fixtures. Those are the only 3 things we needed to do to basically build a aesthetic foundation to design the home. When we first moved in, the walls it was multiple different colors that didn't really fit our aesthetic, and I just wanted to brighten it up a little bit so I can be able to, add our personal style. This door is original, and it actually has the original bell to the home. And when we first moved in, it was only one side painted. It was white on the other side, and I just had an idea to actually paint the other side to add a little color. My favorite corner, we The artwork here all thrifted from Etsy. The same rope I mentioned before in the living room. It's a heating pipe, and every time the kids would go up and down, they would grab it. And we just needed a great idea, concept to be able to, cover the pipe without them getting burned. I also added this beautiful candle holder. I feel like it works perfectly. We don't use the candle. It fits for that corner. I'll take you upstairs and show you the rest of the house. Follow me. We are upstairs in the hallway. One of my favorite things about the room is of course, my baby, my monstera plant is the only place that it grows. I sort of have to kind of trail it along the banister, but my idea is I'm trying to create like a little monstera canopy type vibe over the staircase. We also added light fixtures. Throughout the home, you'll see new light fixtures. I felt like that kind of gave the home sort of, more of a better look to it. So one of my favorite pieces here is this antique high chair that I had got for my daughter. She barely uses it, but I thought it would be a nice little piece to put in the hallway next to her room, just to place something there. Now I'll take you to Sage's room. So Sage's room, of course, the girls' room is my favorite. It took me some time to kind of figure out her style. I wanted her to kind of grow with the room and pick out little pieces that basically represents her style and who she is as a little girl. The bed is one of my favorite pieces in the room. It's a classic, what is this bed called? I think a Jenny Bird bed. And I feel like it goes with any child, boy or girl. A lot of the pieces too we do see are antique. I've been searching years for a child's antique children's desk. And one day I just so happened to be on Facebook Marketplace. I don't have the patience to really search, but I really wanted one so bad. But my issue was finding one that's nearby that I can drive and pick it up. And then one day I was just on there searching like 5 o'clock in the morning, and this one pops up like 20 minutes out of town. When I met the owner, he told me that it was actually his mother's, and he was hoping that he would give it a good home. And I told him it would definitely have a good home. This antique, baby cradle I got from a local thrift shop. I just like filling little pieces in here that I feel like Sage can use that fits perfectly with the room. We have the rabbit. I thought it would be kind of magical and whimsical to have it for her room. She doesn't like it as much because it's always looking at her, but it's definitely a cute piece to add in. And I love these little quotes that I put next to her bed. My favorite one from Pablo Picasso says, "The meaning of life is to find your gift and the purpose is to give it away," which I think is a great, great life quote to go by. And this is a cute little portrait that I got from my dear friend Shantae, who is a great artist that she painted Sage. This chalkboard, this is one of the first pieces that we put in here, of course. I honestly wish I had it framed, but it's really hard to find a big frame to fit around it. But the kids like to use it all the time to play teacher with each other or with their cousins when they talk on the phone. But they use it all the time, especially the little ones, the younger ones. We are in Ollie's room now, the boys' room. The same thing with Sage. I just wanted to create a space for him where he feels comfortable and he could be himself. Ollie, as a boy, he loves superheroes, love action figures, love Legos. So you'll see that throughout the room. He loves Toy Story, so you have all the Toy Story characters around. My favorite piece in this room is the picture frame that we put up of old comics. These comic books was actually given from Ollie's grandfather, which is my husband's father. He collected these when he was a child, and when we got them in, we decided to frame them all, and it's been a beautiful piece here since. Of course, Ollie loves dinosaurs. We collect them all the time. We also love old little pieces. We got these from a local thrift shop. As you can see, my family, we love to read. We have bookshelves through each room. Sage has a bookshelf. Ollie has a bookshelf. We have a bookshelf downstairs. Ollie loves to read his comics. We love this room so much because it totally reflects Ollie's personality. And I feel like throughout the years as he grows up. So home to me means love, it means safety, and a place I can be with my family.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.